Hi, this is Adam, KN6QGV with Bridgecom Systems, and welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything. Today, let me start out by saying, if you have anything, TikTok is where we post our most popular Ask Me Anything questions and live Bridgecom shorts. So if you want any funny content or a chance to win our most popular handheld, follow us on TikTok and enter our contest below for a chance to take home a free Anytone 878 UV2 Plus. It ends at the end of March. Make sure you follow to get entries, and you can enter every week. So I want to say welcome to everyone. And if you guys have questions, let's start getting the ball rolling. Let's first say hello to some of our guests. We got Don Locks, VK1DON, welcome. Royce Leeper, K15RYF from Texas, welcome. Hank Lambert, welcome. Robert Sizwitsky, sorry if I messed that up, welcome from Poland. Wow, congratulations, that's a nice one. Red Viper, KK7CMF, welcome. Hi guys. May, might be May. I think said March on my paper. I do apologize. It's May. Yes, it is the end of May. So if you guys have questions, let's start. Otherwise, I will start by answering one of the questions that we usually get here in tech support is about the Bridgecom Plus. And I would like to help everyone understand that and some of the features that we get. We actually have a Discord in which we provide with everyone so they can communicate with us and our community and also our members of staff. We answer questions for you. We give you access to information. We have exclusive giveaways. Upon your free paid membership of your monthly, you receive a super code plug from us. If you have the annual, you get the ultra code plug. And if you're a member with us for 6 months of the monthly, you will receive the Ultra Code plug as well. You also get access to great discussions on other platforms like Facebook and YouTube. If we have badges, we will. We are also providing access to early content and materials. So we actually have a bunch of things coming out here soon. We are redoing our Bridgecom University courses, so we will be providing you some more of that. We will be providing some interactive courses and some other things to make sure that we involve the customers some more and get you guys involved a little bit more. Now, here's a question. On the SkyBridge Hotspot, are there plans to add a shutdown switch to power down rather than go through the browser? I'm not exactly sure on that one. That is a great question. As it is hardware-based, software-based right now, that might be something we can talk to Pi-Star about, but that would have to be a software implementation to a hardware switch to allow that to happen. Otherwise, you could damage the device by improperly shutting it down if it's writing to the card or something. Great. What is the difference with code plugs? Can you elaborate a little bit with that? Because I can name some differences with them, but I don't know if you're asking for a specific question or not. Are you asking like what's the difference between the different code plugs that come in the code plugs for the different devices? Or are you talking what's the difference between the Ultra and the Super? I guess when he answers, we'll come back to that one. As a Bridgecom Plus member, do I have access to the full Bridgecom University? If so, how do I access it? As a Bridgecom Plus member, you do have access to our Bridgecom Plus course. That actually is a all-in-one inclusive course of all of our material. I'll actually bring up, give me a second here. I'm bringing up a new window. And I'm going to load up Bridgecom University. So if they can switch over. Okay, so what we'll do is you see right here, the BridgeCom Plus, we give you a code, and all you have to do is click buy. When you log in, there'll be, see, mine's going to actually already say that I'm enrolled, so I'll actually select a different one. Give me a second to sign in. But I'll show you what I mean by this. So we go to available courses. I'm already enrolled in that one. I'm not enrolled in this one, so I'll show you the process. What you'll do is you'll click on buy. Then you see right here, it says have a coupon code. We give you a code, you click there, you enter it here. And when you click on apply, it will automatically change this whole bottom part to enroll. And when you click on enroll, it'll activate courses and they'll show up right here in your dashboard. And I'll just show you an overview of the BridgeCom Plus course. Here's everything you will see in that course. And it covers every single device we have, our repeaters, the G90, the Hotspot, the 878, and our 578. Great question. Let's go to the next one. Here, do you have code plugs or super code plugs for the state of Washington? You know, we have code plugs for some states and others. They are just ones that have been submitted by other customers. We don't specifically make them for every state. If you call us up, we can surely tell you what we do have. I don't have a list of what's in front of me, but we'd be happy to provide you with what information we do have. The Super and the Ultra. I can actually load those. Here is actually the Ultra. So if you actually could see, this has a lot of worldwide and international contacts, while when I load the Super, give me a second. The 878, because I'm on version 1 right now. Let this load. Give it a second. I apologize. It's loading. All those contacts take a minute. There we go, load file, okay. Now, if you go back, you'll notice here there's a lot less zones and everything. This is actually more of a, you know, tailored towards the US and some, you know, a little bit international, not so much full on everything. So the other one's a full code plug where it has every single talk group, every single group in there, and it's fully loaded, while this is more of a compacted one that just gets you started and provides you at least with you know, a good amount of code plugs, talk groups and everything. So as we could see here, we have a good amount of talk groups here. Oop, went too far. So in here, we still have almost all the talk groups, as you can see. Ah, kitty. All right, let's go on to the next question. Did NOAA channels get fixed in the Ultra code plug yet? Actually, yeah, NOAA channels are fixed. There was an issue, and we figured out some of the issues. NOAA is a very fragile thing. If you have alert, weather alert on, it will dull out and mute the channels until it gets that 1050 tone from NOAA. If it does not receive that 1050 tone, then you'll just hear it mute. In our Ultra code plug, though, we have altered our settings and updated it to match those settings correctly, though. So it will work when you get it from us. Is there a table that compresses the features of each iteration into code plug so that I can decide if I want to upgrade? No, we don't actually have a comparison between the two, but we could probably get you one if you'd like. If you contact us at our, let's see, let me pull up. Sorry. Call us, and we'll be sure to help you. I'll make sure one of my guys can get, not myself. You can ask for me directly if you'd like. But you could call 816-532-8451, and we'll make sure we get you that answer. We'll get you a comparison sheet. We already answered that one. Ordered the... How do you manually dial a talk group on the 878? That's actually a good one. What you're going to do is... I'm actually putting in my code for my to log in. To manually dial a talk group, you got to be careful with this, because when you change talk groups on your channels, if you don't have a channel that's just called call-in or something, you will get a little bit, confused. So like right now, mine says Brandmeister right here nationwide. If I was to change this talk group, it might not say that right here as well. It will say that new talk group, but you hold down 0, and this brings up the talk group ID. Now, if you want to switch to private, you hit pound, and that switches it to private. Hit pound again, you're back to talk group. You can manually dial in the talk group and then hit the push to talk. Ordered an AT878 UV2 Plus. How hard is it to configure DMR on it? It's actually quite easy. DMR is not that hard to configure. It's a few steps. The main thing, if we could switch over to my CPS here. What you're going to want to do is, first off, you're going to want to set up your digital channel. It's like setting up an analog channel. We have our send and receive frequencies. This time we're going to set digital. Transmit power if you're talking on a hotspot to low, if you're high or turbo, if you're talking with a repeater. The TX permit is a question that a lot of people have. Will always allow you to do it. Channel free will allow you to do it when the channel's free. Different color code means it'll allow you to broadcast only when a different color code is broadcasting, or same color code means that you'll only be able to broadcast when the same color code is active. So a lot of times we put this on different color codes. So that means that if your color code's active, you can't broadcast. But a lot of people like to set this to always. So you can check either one of those. And then over here, what you're going to do is you're going to select your radio ID, which we haven't set in this CPS, the color code, the time slot, and then up here we select the contact that you want. Now these contacts are these contacts over here under digital contact talk group. That's all of these. Then once you create the channel, you go to zone and you create your zones and add it to the zone, and then you'll be able to access it onto the radio. Now, if you need some more assistance with walking through that, I'd be more than happy to help you, or one of our other tech representatives would be more than happy to help you if you need some more assistance. We have some videos on it as well, so you can always check out our university or YouTube. We have videos on it as well there. And if you need the number again, that is 816-532-8451. How do I shut off the annoying beep on the UV3 Pro? Yes, you're going to go menu, settings, radio options, and then it was, give me a second. I think it was, there was another menu in there I had to go to. Give me a second, I'm pulling that up. Voice function, radio settings, voice function. In there you will see the beep, and then you can actually set that to off. That is a great question. They actually moved that. So a lot of people, it used to be before there next to above radio, and now it's actually in voice. So they did move that. Phil, Hi, I just wondered if they have just the US context because I don't have enough memory in my radio. Yes, actually on radioid.net, I believe it's a $5 a year subscription. You can actually create the list of whatever contacts you want and all of that, and they will actually give you a custom code CSV file that you can import into your radio. That is a great question. I agree with you. It is a little annoying. We can't get all the contacts in these older radios. There are 218,000, about 219,000 contacts right now. The radio will give you an error when it imports. However, you will get 200,000 contacts no matter what. It just will cut off after that point. So yeah, you will get most of the contacts either way. So you can go there and go to radioid.net again and pay for their subscription service. And you can select which ones you want, and they'll give you that to you. Great question. Thank you. Anyone else got any questions? These are great questions. Keep them coming, though. What are some of the benefits of the 878 UV2 Plus compared to the older version? Actually, I have another sheet on that here. Some of the comparisons and differences are the mainly it's the contacts, the number of contacts. You have an upgraded amount of contacts. There's now 2 gigs of memory instead of 1 gig of memory inside, and it has APRS receive. So you actually are able to now receive APRS packets. So you can actually receive complete packets, or you can actually receive broken packets. Now with the newest update to 2.05, they have the ability for you to receive broken packets, so you can actually see and troubleshoot what's happening with people's APRS. Really nice feature. Great question. Is it necessary to reset the radio after firmware updates on the 878? The PF1 plus push-to-talk combination does nothing on my radio. It's not 100% necessary. It does fix a lot of bugs and things between the things. I always strongly recommend that you do it. And the PF1 is this button right here and the push-to-talk. So I like to just hold these two with these 2 fingers, and then I turn on my radio. But it's not going to work with mine because I have a password. You actually have to remove the password before you'll be able to format your radio. So that might be one reason why your PF1 doesn't work with your push-to-talk combination on your radio when you actually try to initiate a firmware update. If you're still experiencing this issue, call us up. Our number is 816-532-8451. You can ask for me or any of our tech support guys, and we'd be glad to help you with that, to figure out why that's not working for you. Have any hotspot that has touchscreen programming access? Have any hotspots that have touchscreen programming access with a computer, without computer hotspot? You can actually, your hotspots, they're limited with what you can do directly onto them, even with the touchscreen. I have a touchscreen on mine back here, and the most I can do is shut it down, restart it, or click on something for a little bit more information. There's not much you can do actually directly on the touchscreen. However, you can use a cell phone to directly log into the Pi-Star interface and modify whatever you need to right there directly. So you don't need a computer. You can use your cell phone, and almost everyone nowadays has a tablet or cell phone that they can access and use to log in. I have a 578 UV2 Pro in front of me. It's actually UV3 Pro. I go to settings. There are 3 options: radio set, channel set, and device info. Nothing is addressing the annoying. You got to go to radio settings. And then once you're in radio settings, you're going to go to voice function. And in voice function, you should see beep. It should be the first one in that menu. Is there anything special to receive APRS SMS on the UV82 Plus? I can send APRS SMS, and I cannot receive other APRS messages, but my radio has never once received it. Okay. You have to actually set up the channel to specifically receive APRS packets and switch over. Thank you. So what we'll do is APRS RX. Want to make sure you have APRS receive on here. And we have not, and you want to make sure SMS forbid is off. That's the basic settings for setting up APRS receive. So now if we were on this channel, we'd be able to receive it. If you wanted to do a digital one, you'd have your hotspot frequencies here and you'd set this to talk group. Let me show you. I actually got to create a new one for it. Oh, it's right here. As you see this right here, Brandmeister US APRS, we actually have it in ours now. 310999. And you would actually set that to the digital one for that so you can receive the digital. And that is how you set up the APRS receive. Can you, oh, is there any, you can go that one. There is something in the rig that tells you to reboot after firmware update. So you don't have to press the two buttons. Not necessarily, you don't have to. It's a very strong recommendation. Some people get errors, some people don't. It's strongly recommended no matter what, even when you do a Windows or anything, that you automatically do a wipe of a format and do things like that. But a lot of people don't do it. There's not a lot of issues with it. But when you start to experience issues, the first thing you should do after a firmware update is format if you are doing that. Or if you are experiencing issues, then to format and reload your code plug, so that way you don't experience those issues. You can experience them because there are some setting differences, as well as some have been removed or added, and that removes those from the system's memory and everything. So it is a smart practice to actually reboot your firmware after, but it is not necessary. Can you put both DMR and analog frequencies into a zone? Yes. You can put both DMR and analog frequencies into a zone, and you can actually both set them up with the scans, so you can actually listen to that as well. When we do that, if we could switch over here, I'll actually just pull up a new zone. We'll call this test. So Sky USA right here is actually a digital zone, and we'll come down. Here's NOAA. And there you go. There's a NOAA zone, and there would be no difference. So if we wrote this to the radio, we'd be able to switch over there. And now we have both an analog and a digital channel in that same zone. New to DMR, why do I need to have a digital monitor on to be able to scan DMR repeaters? And is it true that having a receive groups will also allow me to scan and receive DMR repeaters? Okay, digital monitor is so you don't have to have a scan group. It also allows you to hear what digital monitor it's like more like a little bit of a scanner. What I like to do is I like to use digital monitor to hear what talk groups are available on a repeater, because not every repeater has every talk group available. Sometimes this gives you a better list of what you're able to talk to and what you can and can't on certain repeaters. Receive groups are as if you're trying to listen to certain channels or receive certain channels. So while you're talking on one channel, you can still hear another channel. That's more where you get into receive groups. Scanning is more effective for static talk groups on digital and analog channels. Not every digital repeater or hotspot has multiple talk groups going at the same time. So when you do those scans or those group receives, you might not get those because they might not be active at the time. If you set up your hotspot in duplex mode and you actually have static talk groups coming in, you can hear all those coming in at once. It's a lot more advanced to set up, but it works. So not necessary to have those. Those are just some more advanced features that allow people a little more functionality and usability with DMR. I tried adding the aircraft band, but the 878 UV2 Plus would not receive AM. Is this true? Correct. The 878 UV2 Plus does not have AM band. However, our 578 mobile does, our 578 Plus. That is a feature in there. You can actually enable AM just like FM, and you can set it up on VFO-A or VFO-B mode, and you will be able to receive the airband through there. We have requested it. There's been a lot of requests for the the 878 UV2 Plus to actually have it. So we have passed that along to our manufacturers, but we are not sure if anytime we'll add that in the near future or not. But that is a great question. Can we cross with your cross mode with your hotspot? Like use the 878 to talk to someone on Fusion? Yeah, our hotspots do crosses and everything. I'm not sure which networks they do. It's the Pi-Star, so we can actually, let me pull up my Pi-Star over here, and we can actually see what ones are available. Actually, if we see here on the main page, YSF to DMR. Let's see, DMR to YSF right here, DMR to NXDN. So you can go to NXDN and YSF with those, so you can do Fusion. Yes, you will be able to go DMR to Fusion communications on the networks. You just would have to set it up properly, configuration. I don't have the configuration in front of me, and I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not going to walk you through that step right now. But as you can see, you can set up multiple networks on here at the same time. I have both Brandmeister and TGIF both connected to my hotspot. I am looking for an explanation of talk groups. Okay. I think it might be actually easier to show you, so if we can the screen. I'm going to pull up my Brandmeister account. So right now, talk groups are more dynamic on your hotspots. So what happens is you dynamic, meaning you have to key up your that hotspot, that talk group, in order for it to actually communicate. So you'd actually hear it. Now, if I was to come here and see under here, it says static talk group. So if I add, just say 91. Success. I come back over here to my repeater, my hotspot, and you'll now notice 91 is added right here on my static talk groups. So 91 traffic will continue to come in no matter what, regardless of me keying up or not. Now there are semi-static talk groups like 3106 for California. You will notice right here it has a 10-minute limit. So it will be static for 10 minutes, then it goes back to dynamic. It's actually this mic right here. We'd have to, let's see. Is that a little better? So right here is where you would actually put in your talk groups. So static and everything. As you see, this one has a 10-minute limit. So it's only going to be keyed up for 10 minutes. And once it's inactive, it's going to go inactive back to a dynamic. But that is a great question. Thank you. Will the batteries from my 878 work with my newer 878? Yes, they are the same batteries, so you don't need to get one. And the battery extender will also work as well. So you don't need to buy a new one or a different one of that. I set up the APRS channel like you showed. I can receive other APR packets, just not SMS. SMS for bit is not an option for analog APRS. Okay, give me a call and I will pull up my settings and I will walk you through the setup, and we'll make sure that you get that properly. So we'll make sure that we can help you with that. Can I crossband DMR and VHF UHF? Yes, we actually do make some crossband repeaters. DMR can be used on both. It's more of it's more used on UHF than VHF. VHF is just starting to pick up a little bit more with it, but yes, you can crossband with them. You can also do analog to digital and digital to analog. So that is another option available. I have Pi-Star Uno hotspot. What advantages would I have with the Bridgecom hotspot? I'm not too sure what the Uno hotspot is. I think that's one of those mini ones. Ours are very powerful. We build them on the Pi-Star 4 now. They have the updated firmware. They are amazing devices, and we pre-program them, so a lot of people don't have problems with it. As for advantages, if they both use the Pi-Star interface, it's going to be coming down more to hardware advantages rather than software because they run the same software. Hardware-wise, like I was saying, it comes on a bigger device. It has more RAM, more processing power, and other things like that. So our Bridgecom SkyBridge would probably be a lot more efficient over time and be able to process more data if you're very active on it. Ours can handle a good workload. Good question. When you set up a static talk group, what are you doing on that? And was that on the Pi-Star dashboard? I actually set up the static talk group on Brandmeister. And when because I'm connected to Brandmeister is pushing that information, that static talk group to my Pi-Star, to my hotspot. So my hotspot then broadcasts all that information it's constantly getting from 91, 3106, or whatever other ones I select on the static, and it's going to broadcast that to my radio so I can hear it on my radio without having to key it up. That also works, very well if you are like back to what we were saying with the digital monitor, is that you will be able to monitor all those channels at once, kind of like a scan. So you set that up in Brandmeister, TGIF. I don't know if TGIF has that where you can set up a static, but you would set it up in either your C-Bridge or your Brandmeister or one of those networks, and they provide that information to your hotspot, so your hotspot can provide that information to your radio. Ben, I was just, can you show how to add another talk group? Yes. I will show how to add a talk group. And Ben, just going to that question real quick, the static settings as well on TGIF, I'm not sure they have that yet. I do know that we map them when I do, because most of the times people want Brandmeister and TGIF, so we just map the talk groups that they do want on TGIF. That's how we help them out. But I'm not sure that there's any static ones on there yet. I'd have to look some more into that, but I will catch up on that. Now back to you, Johan. I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. If they can switch over to my CPS here. Give me a second. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to on the left-hand side, digital, contact talk group. And at the bottom of the list, we're going to double click. Now up here, we can create a name, whatever it might be. So if you want to create a specific talk group, like here's one we do. Like when we go, here's how we set up the TGIF parrot. It's private call to 5009990. And then we just hit OK. And now we have the TGIF parrot. Now the reason why we do this is because in the hotspot, when you have multiple ones like mine, we map a starting address. So in this case, 500 to TGIF. You don't have to do this if you're only using one. So if we were just doing a normal parrot, we could just do 9990. But as this is going for TGIF parrot, we're doing the 5009990. So when I key up on that, it'll hit parrot and come back to my radio through the TGIF network. Now, in order to access that channel or that talk group, we'll come back over here. Just go to any channel. Let me set this to digital if it's not okay. And now we can come over here and look in our list. Since everything's TG, it's probably at the end for TGIF. Here we go. TGIF parrot right here. And now that channel is now set, and we can write this to the radio. As long as it's in a zone, you will have access to it. Great question. Does our SkyBridge have any optional operational touchscreen functions, or all through the Pi-Star? Ours are actually through the Pi-Star. We don't actually have a functional touchscreen on ours right now. That could be something we can look into the future, but as there are limited interface interactions with the screen, we haven't really seen a need for it. But as you brought it up, I will bring it up in one of our meetings and discuss it and see what we think, if it's a possible solution for the future. Great question. How would I set up my 878 if I want to use a hotspot at home, but repeaters out in public? You would just copy the channels and set the repeater channels up for your local area, and then just have the 2 zones. If you want to get into something more advanced, there are roaming features available, but that is a very long, complicated subject. Maybe we could do a subject on that one day on how to set up roaming for you. But the best option I would do is, personally, I set up 2 zones. I have my hotspot zone, and then I have my local repeater zone. And I just switch to my local repeater zone and switch between the repeaters that's closest to me that I have the best communication access with. So that would be your best bet. Just set up the channel separately and then just make your 2 zones. Great question. All right. All right. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you guys, we have a May repeater sale. During the month of May, you have the opportunity to take part in our repeater sale to cash in on one of our exclusive deals. Buy 1 repeater, you get a free programming kit, a value of $75. Buy 2 repeaters, and you'll get a free 878 UV2 Plus. If you buy 3 repeaters, you get a free 578 UV3 Plus DMR Mobile. And if you buy a 4th repeater, you get the 4th one for half off. These are great deals. The offers do not stack. Be sure to grab your repeaters today, as the end of the month will be here before you know it. This type of deal does not come around often, so don't miss this chance to benefit your club for years to come. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today, and hope everyone enjoys today's questions. Thank you.